And even though Anna Kasparian is somebody who Jen and I both do not think highly of, she is also somebody who has been spot on when it comes to Israel-Palestine, to her credit. And so she had it out with this guy whose actual name is Shabbos, if you can believe that. Shabbos Kestenbaum, I think is his name. And this was on Piers Morgan the other day. I believe that we're all Anna Kasparian with the way she handled this Zion Nazi.
As my co-panelists have suggested, that the Palestinian people are facing a genocide. If you truly believe that they're experiencing a discriminate bombardment, then you would do everything in your power to ensure that the innocent civilian population are safely evacuated temporarily so that
the innocent civilian population is evacuated. That's your solution. Because you believe that that is land that was given to you by God. Am I right, Shabbos? I mean, how could you not be intimidated by a guy like that? Doesn't he just scare the shit out of you that you would just do whatever the fuck he says? Now that is one alpha male, if there ever was. Did you hear how masculine his voice was too? Got me all hot and bothered.
Israel can kill the terrorists who have embedded themselves in civilian populations, like schools, like hospitals, like nursing homes. The problem is every time Israel or Western countries suggest doing that, suggest moving a refugee population the same way we have moved any refugee population, it's called ethnic cleansing. So then the alternative, okay, but then you would have civilians living in a dense urban environment where they are exposed to warfare. And
he's just copying Ben Shapiro. They're all the same. These beta male cucks.
then they die because that happens as a consequence of starting a war you have no hope of losing. So it's sort of a catch-22. Either we can safely evacuate them to Egypt, which, by the way, also shares a border with Gaza.
Again, the way they talk about moving people because they think it's their right to that land is absolutely insane. And if that's not enough, this guy thinks that he can play God. He again reminds me of that peckerhead down in Miami that I want to pound into the ground with every powerful fist that I can swing. That's how I feel. I do have violence in my blood, and I have it for Zionists in a big way. And I know I'm not the only one.
And has zero interest in taking the Palestinian population. Or we can say, well, if you're not willing to safely evacuate them into humanitarian corridors, then you are exposing them to danger in warfare. But it seems like my co-panelists are suggesting that is preferable. That, to me, is something I cannot understand. That is not rational. That is not liberal. That is not justified. We should safely evacuate civilians, take out Hamas and the dictatorial tyrannical regime, and then once the war is finished, you can safely repopulate Gaza with the same civilian population and build Gaza into what it was meant to be when Israel left Gaza in 2005, which again,
what the fuck is he saying? And who, honestly, I want to know who listens to him and thinks, yeah, this is a great influencer. This is a great commentator. I so need to listen to what this guy has to say. Maybe it's like Jen says, these guys are just artificially boosted. It must be.
And to your point of ethnic cleansing, Israel is doing a pretty shitty job of ethnic cleansing when A, there are more Gazans post-October 7th alive than there were pre-October 7th, and B, Israel has given up Gaza in 2005. They gave up the Sinai Peninsula in 1979. They have consistently given up land in the name of peace. You know how much land the other Arab nations have given up? Zero, because their starting position from 1948 was the eradication of the Jew from the river to the sea. And that's what the root of this conflict is all about, is the inability of the Palestinian leadership to recognize the fruitfulness of coexistence and peace. I believe in coexistence and peace. I believe the war should end. You know who doesn't?
Are you going to let him
All right, final word.
This to me is this is a person who is psychopath, is completely devoid of any real humanity. It just doesn't exist. Now, you could say that it's strictly against the Palestinian people. But that's not what it is. The Palestinians are the ones that are in the way. The ultimate goal is the Greater Israel Project, which I think we all agree is what they're trying to do. They would feel the same way about Syrians, would feel the same way about the Egyptians, feel the same way about the Jordanians, they would feel the same way about the Iraqis, and they would certainly feel the same way about the Iranians. That's all. Palestinians are just in the way. And the only reason, as we've mentioned before, that they act tough is because they're dealing with mostly women and children, and they're dealing with unarmed civilians. They're not dealing with a standing army, with real weaponry. We saw what happened when they tried that shit with Iran. It lasted only a week. And they're like, yeah, this isn't a good idea. Guess we'll go in another direction. Let's get back to killing innocent people. That's more fun. Less likely for us to get killed. But I want them all. Honestly, I want to take them all. I have no sympathy whatsoever for guys like Shabbos. And I'm sure that's not even his real name. He, as much as anybody, is a clone, if you will, of Ben Shapiro. Much like that Jubilee clip that we showed you guys with Mehdi Hassan. These guys learn from them, and then they copy it and rebrand it and do it all over again. Colin, please check your phone. There is no question that this guy speaks for the Zionist movement in so many ways, like he just does. And I know there's a lot of people who want to believe in their own mind that it's not that bad, but it is. Jen always says that the Zionist project needs to be lanced off like a boil, and I am of the mind that that's probably what needs to happen, because there is nothing redeemable about these people. Even if a lot of this is just an act, which a lot of it is for several of them, because it pays well. But the Zionist ideology overall is a death cult. And they are going to get a lot of innocent people dead. Yeah, the number is at approximately 434,000. So did Jen. People know tons of these Zion Nazis. And I've always found it just so telling that their attitude and their disposition is not just one that lacks humanity, but it's always coming from the most emasculated of men. Now, don't get me wrong, the women are completely psychotic as well. But with the men, it's very telling. And so to her credit, Anna Kasparian basically said exactly what we were all thinking when this guy was spewing this genocidal bullshit.
They have provided more aid into Gaza post-October 7th than pre-October 7th is something I'm very proud of. And if you believe that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is not doing enough...
The fact that they shoot at people as they're waiting in line for humanitarian aid. Dozens of people get shot and killed literally every single day. Every single day as they're waiting for food. No, I'm not going to let you filibuster, bitch. I'm not going to let you filibuster. I'm not going to let you filibuster. You guys are totally okay with IDF soldiers shooting and killing desperate people waiting for humanitarian aid. You're okay with that. I find it so unbelievably evil. Unbelievably evil. It shocks my conscience and my soul that people as evil as this exist in this world. Okay? Watching these images, looking at these videos, seeing all these kids desperate, hungry, parentless, trapped in Gaza. And you're sitting here and you're defending it. I can't stand it. I can't listen to it. The filibustering is unbearable. It's unbearable.
And what
it's unbearable. I can't take it. How can you watch all those kids die?
Okay,
and be
let me
okay
bring
with it?
Gideon back in here.
Will you call on Hamas right now to surrender and release the hostages? Do it. Do it right now. Say.
Israel is currently holding as much as 10,000 Palestinian hostages. The number is probably a lot larger than that. And this fuckhead, which Anna called a bitch, and that's what he is, a bitch, like Ayel Jacobi, they're all a bunch of bitches, like Evan Ross is a bitch, and Jared Mauskowitz is a bitch. They're all tough with people that can't defend themselves. But when it's people that can, they shrivel up like a Donald Trump ding-a-ling.
I called out Hamas. I called out Hamas from the very beginning. I've got no love for Hamas. It's a terrorist organization. What they did was wrong. I cried over the atrocities that they engaged in on October 7th. But you know what's so disgusting? You want to? Yes, I did. You should watch The Young Turks. That's where you'll see exactly what I had to say about Hamas after October 7th. I even trashed elements of the left who refused to criticize Hamas for what they did. Okay, so you don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to that issue.
Okay, you made that clear.
But you can't on one hand,
you
can't on one hand talk about the injustice of what Hamas did and then turn around and say it's okay if Israel does it times 1,000.
Yeah. That cuts deep.